Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. Today we're going to be talking about what to do if the ATF comes knocking at your door looking for a rare breed trigger or just about anything else. Let's get to it. This video is sponsored by Blackout Coffee, which honestly is some of the best coffee that you're going to find out there. And I say that being somebody who drank it long before they ever sponsored the channel. And if you're looking for a coffee company that actually supports the Second Amendment and our troops, then Blackout Coffee is where you need to be getting your beans. These guys have some of the best roasts and flavors that you're going to find, including some of the specialty stuff that you wouldn't even possibly imagine. So definitely worth checking out. Single serve, whole bean, or grinded. Check out Blackout Coffee. The link's going to be down below. I have a discount code for you, and you can get other stuff like mugs and things like that too. Okay, so with everything going on surrounding rare breed triggers right now and the fact that we know that the ATF has started going door to door, it's really important that you understand that you still have options and you still have rights. You did not forfeit your rights simply because you bought something that at a later date the ATF determined that you shouldn't have. You still have those same options, you still have those same rights. Now, I'm not an attorney. This shouldn't be considered legal advice. This is just advice that was given to me throughout the years that I want to share with you. And I think it's important advice, but you can choose whether or not to follow it. So if the ATF decides that they're going to head over to your house and they're going to knock at your door, you have to realize that you have options. Number one, if they have a warrant, they're coming in regardless. They're going to give you that warrant. The warrant's going to say exactly what they're going to be looking for and what they can search for, and they're just going to come through. So whether or not you decide to answer the door or not, they're coming in and they're going to take what they need to take. That's just, a fact of life, right? But if they don't have a warrant, you don't even need to open the door. You can speak to them through the door. Now, the only thing that I would say to them, if you do speak to them through the door, is go ahead and contact my attorney, or if you'd like, leave a card and I'll have my attorney contact you. I would not speak to them directly. As much as you think it's totally simple, it's very easy, I'm just telling them, something very non-specific that's not going to get me in trouble, they'll find a way to pick things apart and get information from you. Nothing good ever comes from you representing yourself by speaking to law enforcement. It usually ends up working against you. Now, I understand not everybody can afford an attorney. You can't afford the retainer, you can't afford to have an attorney on call 24/7, and so you're kind of forced to represent yourself. You have to speak for yourself because you can't afford to have anybody else do it for you. Try and keep certain things in mind here. You still have options, you still have rights, okay? The one thing that I would like to point out to people who are going to be representing themselves that is still one of your rights is the right to refuse a search. If they say they would like to search the home for this, they don't have a warrant, but they would like to search the home for, A, B, or C, whatever it is that they're looking for, you could say, no, I do not consent to a search. And that is what I would suggest. If they don't have a warrant, don't consent to any searches, because guaranteed, while they come into your house and they start looking around for exactly what it is that they think you have, they're going to find something else, or at least they're going to look for something else. You might think that everything's fine, nothing, around you is going to get you in trouble, but you'd be surprised what you may not know. Not everybody can keep up with all of the new laws, rules, and regulations and things that are created by the ATF, and so it's best to just say, I don't consent to a search, and don't let them in. Now, if you do have to speak and represent yourself, keep your words to an absolute minimum. Do not give them more information than they absolutely need. So again, if you're forced to interact and have a conversation with them, do not overspeak. Now, let me give you a quick example of what I mean when I say don't give them too much information and don't overspeak. It's like when a cop pulls you over and says, where are you coming from? You could say, down the street. That's minimal information. Okay, they don't need to know exactly where down the street you came from. But there's a lot of people out there that will overspeak and give too much information and say, oh, I was down the street at my cousin Jesse's house. We were playing Call of Duty and messing with the neighbors. He didn't ask what you were doing down the street. He didn't ask who you were with down the street. He didn't ask what interactions you had with the neighbors. You just gave him a lot more information than he ever asked for. All he said was, where are you coming from? Now, on a quick note, if you can, always remember to document your interaction with law enforcement if they show up at your door. So if you have a doorbell camera or something like that, try and record the interaction. Try and record any badge numbers, conversations, or specific information that they mention. That might end up being useful later on down the road. Now, also, for some reason, if you are detained or arrested, at that point, shut your mouth. Don't say anything else. Ask for legal representation. Now, if you want more exact advice on how to interact with law enforcement if the ATF shows up at your door, I talked to a buddy of mine over at the FPC just to verify that what I was saying was not totally off base, and he sent me a link to their response on their page where they have advice for you listed so that you can follow that advice should you have that interaction. I'll put a link to that down below. Now, some of the key takeaways from this video should be that you don't have to open the door. You don't have to go outside and talk to them. You don't have to let them inside to talk to you. Unless they have a warrant, in which case I would open the door, because if you don't, they're going to break it down and, well, you're just saving your door in that case. Number 2, get a lawyer. Always get a lawyer. If you can get a lawyer, that's what I would do. Let the lawyer do the talking for you. I wouldn't say anything if you can get a lawyer. If you can't afford a lawyer, keep your words as short as humanly possible. Do not give any more information than the information that is exactly requested. Don't add any words, don't add any phrases, no descriptions, nothing. Simply the information that they are asking you. Otherwise, you have the option of giving it up. If that's something that you want to do. These are all decisions that you're going to have to make at the time. But remember, do not consent to searches. Law enforcement, they love searches when they don't have a warrant involved because it allows them a lot more leeway as to what they can do, where they can look, and what they can check. A warrant sort of keeps law enforcement in check because it says exactly where they can search and what they're looking for and kind of how things are supposed to be applied during their search. If you allow them in to search, then you're allowing them that kind of full leeway to look for whatever they want. So again, I wouldn't consent to any type of search. So to me, this is all totally unconstitutional to begin with. I mean, you have a government bureaucracy that changes the definition of something so that new rules can be applied. And with those new rules, there's new enforcement, allowing these ATF agents to go around and confiscate things without compensation and basically take law-abiding citizens' property just based off of a simple definition. That's it. The definition that is provided by the ATF and the ATF alone, not a definition that was provided by Congress. And so you have basically an agency that is creating new laws and potentially new criminals who didn't even know that what they were doing was not legal. So again, this is to me totally unconstitutional. It is wrong in every single way, and people are having their property seized by the government, again, without compensation, seized by the government, and they're losing that property that they purchased based off of a branch of government that changes their mind on a whim. I mean, that's basically what it boils down to. So if you get a knock on the door from the ATF, again, remember, if you can, just contact an attorney. That's the best possible thing that you can do. Anyway, I want to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. You guys have a great day.